Hello and welcome to the BMC Quick Course Series. My name is Michael Cotignola and I'm a DB2 software consultant based in our Montreal, Canada office. In this session, we will review a new feature in our NGT DB2 high-speed utilities. It is a feature that will facilitate the transition of existing BMC Plus utilities, fondly referred to as the classics, to the new and improved NGT platform. We've nicknamed the feature Smart Switch, and in the next couple of slides I will explain why we developed the feature and why we think the smart description is applicable. In the next few minutes, what I'd like to do is share with you what is Smart Switch and why BMC chose to develop this additional feature in support of our NGT DB2 high-speed utilities. We'll review the installation requirements and procedures for Smart Switch, briefly touch upon the recommended configuration of the NGT utilities in a Smart Switch implementation, and conclude with what is required to manage the Smart Switch environment. As the demands of digital economy placed more and more strain on DB2 processing in general, the DB2 utilities needed to keep pace. To satisfy the needs of the growing availability requirements and faster, more efficient CPU utilization, BMC responded by re-architecting our high-speed utilities for DB2. These re-architected utilities are what we call our NGT utilities, NGT short for Next Generation Technology. For the short term, BMC will continue to support both the Plus versions or classics of the utilities and the NGT versions. However, the current end of full support for the classics is targeted for April 29, 2020. From May of 2020 to April 29th of 2022, Load Plus, Unload Plus, and Reorg Plus for DB2 will be on what we call limited support. End of support for all three products is targeted for April 29th, 2022. In addition, customers wanting to exploit any new DB2 features, DB212 that is, will need to deploy the NGT versions. For these reasons, BMC is recommending customers transition to NGT as soon as feasibly possible. BMC recognized that the transition to this new platform needed to be as seamless and transparent as possible, even to the extent of eliminating the need for changes to existing JCL. Hence the introduction of Smart Switch feature for our new NGT DB2 high-speed utilities. Smart Switch dynamically switches jobs from classic utilities to run on the corresponding NGT version of the utility based on the rules that you create in a rules table. More on the rules table in a little while. Specifically, Smart Switch is targeted for existing Load and Unload Plus customers and to a lesser extent Reorg Plus. Because of the additional features available in NGT Reorg, BMC is urging customers to revisit their DB2 reorg strategy and leverage the power of NGT reorg natively. A secondary but no less important objective of the NGT Smart Switch capability is to preserve the end user experience and interaction when transitioning from the Plus version of the utilities to NGT. Very simply stated, an end user should be able to take an existing BMC DB2 Plus JCL job, submit it, and get the same results without having to be concerned whether it was Load Plus or NGT Load that executed. The goal is to use existing JCL for Load, Unload, and Reorg Plus JCL, make minimal to no changes in operational and application job flows, and exploit the power of NGT. Implementing the Smart Switch feature is a relatively simple process. The first step is applying the appropriate PTFs for the utilities in question. There are PTFs specifically for Load, Unload, and Reorg. The details for the various PTFs and how to obtain them are documented in the technical bulletin available on our support site. Simply navigate to the product documentation under the A to Z supported product list tab, select NGT Load, Unload, or Reorg, and look for the PDF under the technical bulletin section. BMC recommends using our ISR, or Internet Service Retrieval Facility, to download the PTFs, any associated prereqs, and additional maintenance that may be available at the time. While there are Smart Switch PTFs available for both the 11.2 and 12.1 releases of the Load, Unload, and Reorg products, BMC strongly recommends deploying the 12.1 release for several reasons. First, the 12.1 release will support DB212, so even though you may not be running DB212, deploying our 12.1 release will position you for an easier migration to DB212. Secondly, there are more features and additional support for Smart Switch in our 12.1 release, making it a natural choice for deployment. You will also need to ensure you have the appropriate solution password to activate the feature. Applying the PTFs without the required BMC DB2 Solutions password listed on this slide will not enable the feature. Finally, you will need to ensure the required infrastructure is in place to activate the feature. The infrastructure is a set of DB2 objects, a table, index, and an alias, required to govern and manage the scope of Smart Switch. The table is referred to as a policy table and functions similar to the other BMC util tables. The documentation for this top policy table can be found in the same technical bulletin that contains the required PTF numbers for each product. We will discuss the policy table in a more detailed section in a subsequent slide. The final step in activating the Smart Switch feature of the NGT is the creation and population of the policy table. As we mentioned before, Smart Switch dynamically switches jobs from classic utilities to the corresponding NGT products based on NGT capabilities and the policies that you specify to comply with your business needs. For example, you may elect to transition to NGT by application groups, or perhaps by a specific DB2 subsystem, or even down to the individual special DB2 tablespace that you may be managing. The principle of the policy table is to allow you for an orderly and controlled migration to NGT. The creation of the policy table is not part of the familiar $7 series of jobs generated as part of the OZI install. Instead, the sample DDL can be found in a member in the D2 usamp library, which is populated when the Smart Switch PTFs are applied. BMC strongly recommends that you not change any of the default values for the names of the objects, with the exception of the DB2 buffer pool to use. You can use any of the DB2 buffer pools available to you, provided that they are of the 4K size. A rules or policy table is required for each DB2 subsystem and/or data sharing group. Keep in mind that if the PTFs are applied and the policy table created but is left empty, switching will not occur. Smart Switch will behave as if the policy table was not activated. More details on how Smart Switch works in regards to rule setup, sorting, and checking can be found in the technical bulletin. The ability to add, edit, copy, delete, and deploy rules to different subsystems is available through the BMC Workbench for DB2. Workbench verifies that your specified values use valid syntax and are correct. Failure to use Workbench for DB2 limits BMC's ability to provide support in diagnosing errors in Smart Switch functionality. For more information about managing the policy table in Workbench, please view the quick course Setting Up DB2 Utility Smart Switch. Thank you for your time. This concludes our quick introduction to the NGT Smart Switch feature. For more information on Smart Switch or any of our BMC DB2 products, please visit our mainframe product support page.